It is nice to be back. I missed you guys.
Hello.
I legitimately missed you guys. I missed the always joyous face of one Roy Bellamy. Roy Bellamy's Panthers play at the Bruins tonight. We'll get to that in a second.
The Bees.
That's
well, which is it? Which is it?
The Bees.
Is it the Bees or the Brew Crew? Which is it? Because
the Big Bad Bruins.
I don't understand why Brew Crew just
BRU,
made an
Brew Crew,
Crew.
yeah.
Thank you.
Hey, welcome back.
Did you guys play all?
You missed us, huh?
Did you
Not
guys
for long.
Did you guys play? It's like going to Vegas. You're all excited getting back, and then 3 minutes in, you know that hotel looks like it's right there, but you got to walk 7 miles in 110-degree heat. But yes, I'm about over it.
Wait until you get to the Big Suey. I mean,
Billy, did you do FIU football again, and were you again down 21-0 in the first quarter?
Yes and yes. I did do FIU again last week, Jacksonville State, coached by Rich Rodriguez, which was a surprise to me.
what?
What a fall was
Rich
right, but
Rod.
I didn't want to say that.
How much
on
of
the-
that
on the
has
air.
that's not happened to Jessica, but how much of that is happening to you guys every week where you tune in somewhere and you see, oh, look at there, Al Golden's the Notre Dame guy.
Can we find a sadder fall than Rich Rodriguez, though? That's going to be tough to beat.
Oh, I think we can. I think we can.
Put on spring football once.
Where's Butch Jones?
Oh, good question.
Is it Arkansas State or something?
He did cry in their season opener.
He lost 73-0 in their season opener.
Yeah, but who were they playing? That was probably a payday, right?
But still, he was crying on the sideline because of how far he had fallen. And I think he was on his knees, and it's a guy who had previously fallen. Didn't he tear his Achilles while shaking hands after a game one time?
It was recently announced that Todd Haley will not return as head coach of the Memphis Showboats.
It is Arkansas State,
because
though.
he's coming back to the Steelers? Hell yeah.
I know that Jim Tom Sula won a European football championship.
Oh, stop it.
When undefeated.
What?
Yes, in Germany.
Shula?
Yes, Tom Sula.
How's this? Brady
Tom
Hoke
Shula.
is the head coach of San Diego State. They're
Again.
in 9th place in the Mountain West.
But he's back.
Look how pleased Stugotz is with Tom Shula. He's now calling the undefeated, was it the Rhine Fire? The undefeated Tom Sula.
Everyone's head. It flew right over, Chris. Thank
Chris
you.
Cody, he came back to it because he's like, that's a good joke. He knew it was a good joke. And he's like, no, you guys didn't acknowledge it the first time.
I thought he was just slurring or something.
No, he came back the second time because, God damn it, listen to me. I had the floor to myself last week. I could be hurt. Tom Shula.
Rough season for the Red Wolves. 4-4 in the Fun Belt West. Yeah.
Right.
They lost to Oklahoma 73-0. That's understandable, right?
No.
All right, put it on the poll, please. Juju at Le Batard Show. Greater fall from grace, Rich Rodriguez or Butch Jones? Since you insist on arguing about this.
Oh, whoa. I was wrong. He had a very rough 2022 also. They went like 3-8, not good. Let's see what he did 2021.
Forgive me, Billy.
Hey.
Can we merge?
Bad 2021 too. Butch Loans is not long for the Red Wolves.
Jones.
What did I say?
No, the last name
Loans.
deserves to start with an L.
Yeah, sorry.
And Jacksonville State is good.
No, this is Arkansas State.
I was going back to the poll
Yeah,
question.
it's been a long day.
Yeah.
Mondays are rough.
It's been a long day. We just started. We're 3
You guys
minutes into
bust
the
that
show.
out early. They bust that out early.
Well, this is what's happening around here, and people don't understand what's happening around here, and I don't blame them. It'll become more obvious in the next couple of months why we were in Hollywood and what it is that we're doing. But Billy and Stugotz have already done God Bless Football. It should be out. Stugotz will tell you what the top 5 quarterbacks are who should be traded to the Minnesota Vikings.
Just top 5 guys. That might be the next Vikings quarterback. That's all.
I kind of want that list.
That's a good list.
Yes.
I heard it. You don't.
Well, this is what happened before the show.
Thanks, Billy.
I just asked Billy before we started, and this is why Billy's already tired. Because I said, what don't we cover? Because it's been covered on God Bless Football. And he's like, please, dear God, do not cover who's being traded to the Minnesota Vikings. And Chris Cody waddles over and is like, I'd kind of like to know.
So Ryan Tannehill?
Number 3.
Well, we'll talk about quarterback evaluation in a second because it appears that Vrabel is kind of afflicted with the same thing Belichick was, where he doesn't know how to evaluate quarterbacks. And so he plays Drew Bledsoe, and then Drew Bledsoe has to get hurt, and then he plays Tom Brady. And Will Levis did something yesterday. All of a sudden, all of us was like, did all of us not have the same reaction of, Really? DeAndre Hopkins can still get down the entire field? How were they playing football before this?
I had that reaction. I also had the reaction, wow, Will Levis is a Titan, and he's good.
Well, he was third on the depth chart prior to that start. He did not look good in the preseason. That was pretty shocking.
Yes.
And why was Malik Willis not playing in that game?
I guess they have a new GM over there in Rand Carthon who basically took Will Levis because you look at the draft board and the value. Remember, he slid quite a bit.
Second round, Mike.
It's not punitive to take a shot at a quarterback, but Will Levis did not impress. Malik Willis, I think earlier this season, was getting the backup action over there, and Will Levis comes in with a shock start and makes everybody look stupid.
Well, it looked Herberty, right? Just drop back and throw the ball 50 yards.
Yes.
Big statuesque guy back there. And we were all like, whoa, where did all that come from? Tennessee's been constipated for 7 games. Like, that offense isn't going anywhere because it's just Derrick Henry in a phone booth. It's just slants, and they really miss A.J. Brown because it appears he's kind of good.
Yeah.
Dan, I saw on Sunday Night Live yesterday with Tony and Juju that you were on that, and I saw Tony with one of the worst takes I've ever heard, that Will Levis looked like Dan Marino. How did you not eviscerate him?
Thank you, Billy. I was trying to support what Tony and Juju were doing over there, unlike you, who loves to undercut. It's the first thing he said, and
right.
I wanted to break into programming and scream at him, but I was there. There to support.
Well, yes, and
you can't support that, though. I mean, everyone has a line.
No, because he's trying to learn how.
Yeah, but it's like teaching your kids to drive. You can't let them crash the car.
Well,
until you're about to get to the wall, and then you're like, let me hit the brakes here. You know what I mean?
They are both 6'4".
This is what's happening around here, and why it is that I allowed it with Tony, even though he's clearly overreacting. You understand that he's learning at the Stugotz trough. The next evolution of the take master has to take the take where the take hasn't been taken. And so what do? One start, he looks like Marino. And then we'll pull it back after that. We'll go 4
TDs, and again, 6'4". It does kind of look like Marino.
What I meant is he's better than Dan Marino, Dan. Like, why didn't you kind of push the gas on it?
Yeah.
I have to acknowledge at this point, Billy might be right. This is why I have to acknowledge it, because they are seeing sports through a different prism, he and Mike, as adults with children, and they see things quicker than I do sometimes. And this happened the other day with Jalen Ramsey, because Jalen Ramsey objected. He was furious. Adam Schefter reported that Jalen Ramsey planned to make his return Sunday from a knee injury from this summer, a month early, Stugotz. And Jalen Ramsey would have what should have been a pick six, might have been a pick six from a healthier Jalen Ramsey.
Right. Went the wrong way.
Yes, he did go the wrong way. Easy for us to say. We're not out there. But yes, he did go the wrong way. And if it had been me or Stugotz, it would have been a pick six. But he's coming off an injury, and so it was not. But Jalen Ramsey got legitimately pissed, it seemed like, at Adam Schefter's report, saying, so this is why I just got a crazy amount of texts. Well, this is news to me that I'm starting on Sunday. MFers don't care about being right. They care about being first in today's media. That's sad. And immediately as that landed, Stugotz, what are your thoughts to just that? What are your thoughts to what Jalen Ramsey's reaction was?
I think it's a weird thing for Jalen Ramsey to be concerned about, to be honest with you. Like, who cares what the media is saying, and who cares if they're saying you're starting? Like,
I'll tell you why someone cares. Mike Ryan immediately texted me. He's objecting this way. It's not about who's first or who's right or what's sad. Mike Ryan, Jalen Ramsey left Jacksonville coming in after a holdout or whatever, and he left and joined the team out of a Brinks truck, Stugotz. He was making a music video. Then he goes to the Rams, wins a championship. Like, he's been at the top of this sport.
Yes.
And he's coming to Miami, not unlike Tyreek Hill, Stugotz, as a brand. His JR, his initials together to form a football, it's sleek. He's coming from Los Angeles, and he's a star. And Mike Ryan texted me, I bet you that he's objecting to this because he's got some lame video he wants to put out on Instagram to signal his arrival, and he's mad at Adam Schefter because he undermined the release of his video. Lo and behold, look what happens a couple days later.
Unfortunately, on Jalen Ramsey, this is a very hard thing to return to play from.
Lord knows I'm 50 rich. All inside of life 50 bricks. Never I pray, really, I wish for this. To get the grip with the maid and with the picket fence. I'm with the niggas that mad, we took a risk for this. Sometimes I'm not that I'm a fit for this. But Lord knows if I can pin for this, I probably won't get home until I'm 56. They say, I don't know why they be guessing these suckers before. Sorry, I'm not feeling that shit. Different between me and what they They talk about work that I really put in. Talk about pictures I put on my hip, and I'm talking about bars I really could win.
It's just a high bar is all. And people have no idea how hard it is to recover and return. I think it's a tall order for Jalen Ramsey to come back and be Jalen Ramsey.
Little over the top, you said to me, Chris Cody. You said you say goosies, you asshole.
Right.
You asshole. Why would you say?
No. There was a roller coaster there. The very beginning, goosies.
Right.
About 40 seconds in, I'm like, all right, this is a bit
Little
much.
too much. Right.
Like the music,
Was it the
very
Rocky music?
It's the Rocky
operatic.
music. Yeah.
Why was he getting a haircut?
That's a great question.
The other stuff kind of made sense with the haircut. I was like,
He's getting ready.
He's coming back.
He's getting ready.
Right. Want to look nice when you come back, you know?
Jessica, what's happening there between him and Schefter? Like, is it that crass? Is it that brazen? I want to announce my return via music video. Schefter, quit undermining me.
It was very silly because I read his quote sheet and I was like, wow, this is a bad look for Adam Schefter. And then I saw that he was active and I was like, okay, I'm the idiot here, actually.
It's just that being the go-to. Considering where we are and everyone feels like they can just take shots at the media, Adam Schefter is pretty reputable when it comes to these things. And when you damn well know it's true because you've already shot your hype video, it's just a terrible look. And it's all that for that. You know, it's dumb where we are.
It would have been really funny if Schefter just tweeted out the video.
And
That would have been great.
Who's not watching that video? Like, if you're a fan of the Dolphins, you're still going to check out the video. It's not like, I already knew it from Schefter. Can't watch the video.
Right. Just stay quiet. Just stay quiet instead of do the whole fake news bit. That's all tired and all that.
Okay, I'm going to stop you here just because this Dolphin team is the most exciting of this century. And they're interesting. They're going to play a Chiefs team with a evidently very sick Patrick Mahomes.
Right.
We're going to allow him that sick to fly back and forth.
That's convenient.
That's a good idea by you. You know
It
what?
is Germany.
He should stay back.
I mean,
Safety first.
But funny hearing people in Florida be like, oh, he should stay home. He's sick.
It's not just about him. It's about others.
It is crazy that the
Very funny.
Chiefs and the Dolphins are going to be playing at 6:30 on the West Coast. Los Angeles at 6:30 is going to be getting.
Not so good now, huh?
No.
Wes was so happy last week. This was great.
I like those games early. I felt so less slothy late at night.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Waking up early, I think, adds to the experience of a big game feel.
And
I
a
like
Europe
that.
game. It's like
Yeah.
getting up for soccer or for F1.
I like that. I like that. And
You like this game being played at 9:30 in the morning? I hate that.
Have you seen the Week 9 slate? You have a monster national game in every television window. If you put in a bunch of teams in a bucket and ask AI to generate what's the most exciting matchup right now, they may come back with Chiefs and Dolphins, and you're starting your Sunday morning with it, and you're ending your Sunday with Bills at Bengals. It's just a crazy week, especially when you compare that to this week, which was just garbage.
I'm over Europe
Oh,
in general.
wow.
As a continent.
All of it?
Yeah, it's just
Yeah.
What do you mean?
I'm just over it. And why do they get our best football game?
Yeah.
They didn't know that the Dolphins were going to be this
They
good.
knew that this was going to be a big game. It's Tyreek Hill's revenge game. They knew this
They
was
want
a
to
big
come out with a
game.
bang in Germany.
Why? The NFL's never going to take off in Germany. I'm just going to say it right now. Wasting time. They're wasting time in Germany.
I think they sold the game out in like 4 minutes.
Yeah, that's great. One game. Wow.
No,
Waste of time.
I'm talking about last year's game,
Right.
which was the Bucks in town.
Yeah.
They sold that one out, and there was a crazy appetite for it.
Put a team there. See how many times people go to watch American football in
Well,
Germany.
they're gonna
You can
do
just
it.
Get out of
promote
there.
Jim Tom Shula's team over there.
There you go, my guy.
They are going to go global with
They
this.
are not.
They're going to try. I mean,
They're gonna
London,
fail.
London Super Bowl. Okay.
A London Super
And
Bowl.
London should never get a Super Bowl.
Ridiculous.
Mark my words on that.
Yeah.
The day that London gets a Super Bowl is the day that Americans should stop watching football and see if Roger Goodell continues to fuck around with us.
He's right.
I'm sorry.
Yep.
I'm sorry.
Preach.
We've gone too far. The Super Bowl, we're going to have to wake up and watch it at 6 a.m.? Get the hell out of here.
Very myopic.
Out of here.
I think they started at like 3:30.
Well, then why can't they all start at 3:30? If all of a sudden the Super Bowl can start at 3:30, why can't every game start at 3:30 so everyone can watch it?
Keep in mind,
so sick of these 9 a.m. games in Europe.
Nine-
For what?
Super Bowl
what
should
are
be
we
on,
doing?
Super Bowl should be on a Saturday.
the 9 a.m. The 9
It may
a.m.
be on a Saturday there because of the whole time
Right.
zone thing. I don't even know.
We'll discuss that another
Should have
time.
it in Australia.
Thank
then.
no.
The 9 a.m. games are new. It's just like a couple. They've been playing for how long over in London, and those games would always start at 1 o'clock. It'd be a primetime game in London.
You know
they're
how I know-
experimenting with these all-day TV windows.
You know how I know it's not going to work?
How?
NFL Europe. Boom. Caso cerrado.
No, the Rhine Fire is a 2-time World Bowl champion.
A what?
They're in Germany. The Rhine Fire.
And they're back. led
And they're
by
back.
And
Jim
Greg's
Tom
Lobos
Shula.
is a 7-time Greg's Lobo Bowl champion. Who cares?
Just deflect.
I need to leave for 2 weeks more often so that Billy comes out of the gate like that. I need to go more.
You agree, though,
I
right?
need to go more on trips. No, I don't.
Billy, you just sound scared. You just sound like you're already making excuses for the Dolphins.
Oh, I'm terrified.
Well,
I don't think they're going to travel well.
well, the Chiefs look.
Off a loss.
The Chiefs look so bad.
I know, revenge game for the Chiefs.
Well,
Disaster.
I want to do this
Bounce
part.
back game.
I want to do this part for a second, though, because that is a fun game, and Tyreek Hill, Stugotz, is having, the best start to a season from a receiver that we've ever seen.
He's the MVP of the league.
Maybe.
Dan, I can't imagine what the Dolphins' record would be without
but
Tyreek Hill.
AJ Brown has been just as good.
He's been great.
And their team is better because the Eagles are kind of like Georgia in college football, where you're like, something's a note off, something's a note off. Oh, they don't lose.
It could be because they also drafted all Georgia players.
They lost to the Jets.
Yeah, I know, but that's their only loss, and we'll get to that game in a second because
Oh, yeah.
that
Big W.
that was a suffering. I did not want that game to go into overtime just because I did not want to have those two teams play any more shit football. But I want to get back to the point that Mike and the general objection of the room to what Jalen Ramsey is doing. And I will tell you again, Stugotz, I understand LA doesn't care about sports, or we think it doesn't, but Jalen Ramsey won a championship there and went there to become a bigger star, stifled by Jacksonville, goes and becomes a champion, and was a part of weekly matchups. We don't do this a lot anymore, where we were talking about Jalen Ramsey on this guy.
I think I'm the only person in this room that took objection to what Jalen Ramsey was doing. No one cares. The media is such easy fodder and such an easy mark for Jalen. No one's going to be like, Jalen Ramsey, we're holding you accountable for lying about that Adam Schefter thing. No one cares. The media is a bad guy as always. My whole thing is, Jalen Ramsey, you're not helping with that. Just stay quiet if it's all about your video.
But this is why, though, I would argue he doesn't have to stay quiet, and it's part of what I've seen that's been so fascinating to me with this Dolphin team. There are a couple guys on it who really want to be stars. And Hard Knocks is coming to town, and the Miami Dolphins have been a regional team for 25 years, Stugotz. For legitimately 20 years, they've been a regional team. And now they're a story in sports because everyone sees. They can see, look how fast that team is. Look how creative it is. Look how relaxed their coach is. Their coach is a little strange. This is not a normal football coach, and what you're seeing from his schemes looks even better by a good amount than what's happening in San Francisco because the quarterback gets rid of the ball so fast that they've created something in their organization, Stugotz, to kind of protect the economy. How do we get to a not hurt? Throw everything in 2 seconds.
Yes.
Everything gets thrown in 2 seconds so that even your offensive linemen, they're all out. You can't run the ball at all. He's still not getting pummeled because he gets rid of everything so fast.
They're incredible. They're fun to watch. They score 35 points in a day where not everything is clicking, not everyone is healthy. If they get home field advantage, I think they'll win the Super Bowl. I really do. I think they'll make it to the Super Bowl because I believe that team is unbeatable at home. But I don't care about the Jalen Ramsey stuff. Dan, it is so absurd to ask Adam Schefter not to do his job so you can present your video. To me, that's ridiculous. It's meaningless.
It's all ridiculous. My only point is that Jalen Ramsey has half a season to make himself a star. He started yesterday with an important interception that might have been.
But that's what makes you a star. Do stuff on the field, win games.
No, Stugotz. That's not true. Go ahead and name all the Eagles corners. Go ahead and name all of the Chiefs corners. Go ahead and name that's not.
But you're asking Stugotz.
Right.
Big play Slay
Okay,
has solid
Safety?
branding.
Safety?
Correct. But Jalen Ramsey doesn't want to be out for 6 weeks and fall behind in stardom and name power to big play Slay because he can't play in the game. Like, that's the pressure that's on these guys.
I get all that. Just stop fake newsing the media when you already shot your entire music video.
It's so good, though.
And it's also Schefter that you're going after.
Right.
But you're objecting to it, and I can't help but find funny the idea that Jalen Ramsey wouldn't want the news, quote unquote news, of his return released in any other way than with a heroic video that includes Rocky music at the end.
If you've been paying attention to Jalen Ramsey, you knew, it's why I texted you. You could see this coming from a mile away. His agent, all his clients do this stuff. It's just kind of lame when you preface it like that. And it was a cool video, especially when it crescendos to the Rocky stuff. Remember his hype video for when he got traded to the Miami Dolphins? That was also kind of cool. I just don't like the whole preface of, you're lying. No, this is news to me. The media is always out to get me. It's stupid.
Do you think he did an email to the whole organization? Who told him? Who did it? That's who we should really be mad at here.
I'm going to pay the Dolphins.
Source.
I'm going to pay the Dolphins the greatest compliment I have paid them in 23 years. This is the greatest compliment I can pay this team that I am presently watching. They have gotten me to watch commercials. I leave the red zone because I want to see what is happening in that. They have pulled me away from the red zone, which is just instant crack for 7 hours somehow. I don't know how. I do not know how they sustain. 9 games in one window. I want to sleep during the late games. What do you mean Mahomes is losing? I'm tired. I'm jet lagged. I'm sad. Let me sleep during the 3-4 o'clock games.
Do you ever do the thing where you're watching the Dolphins game and you're like, it's a commercial. Going to go over to the red zone for a few minutes. Dangerous game.
Right.
Then you just get lost, and then it's
might
been
never
10
go
minutes.
back. Yeah.
And it's like, damn it, I missed half the Dolphins quarter.
And then they
Happens
show
all
up
the time.
on red zone,
Yeah.
and you're like, oh no,
I'm an idiot.
how did they get in the red zone?
And sometimes red zone's ahead somehow. How is this happening?
And sometimes 10 minutes behind, inexplicably. You never know.
Give us your answers, Hanson.
Is it the future? Is it the past? I don't know. It's not the present.
It's one of the things that's happened is I used to be able to go back and forth with my TiVo remote, and the YouTube remote makes it harder.
TiVo.
I know.
TiVo.
I know it's funny.
I love TiVo.
I know it's funny, but I used to be able to slow down plays, and YouTube makes that harder. It does. I told you something was going to change about my viewing experience.
I learned that TiVo has a patent on all DVRs. That when DirecTV came out with their own brand, they still had to pay TiVo.
I miss it.
You learn something new every day.
I miss it, and you make fun of me, but the way I used to watch the games is I could slow everything down. I didn't
On
have
mute
to.
and slow.
Yes.
Watch an offensive line play.
That's
You
right.
still
Like you're
can-
watching in the Matrix.
You can still do it. I realize what
hard.
you're saying. It's much
It's-
harder on
it is-
YouTube.
The toggle's harder.
Right. No, you're right.
The toggle
I
is
noticed
harder.
that. I've thrown it at times.
It is harder.
in this room, I'd say you, Dan, and Chris Cody and Roy are the most passionate of Dolphin supporters. Have you guys gotten accustomed to owning Bill Belichick? Because that's wild. Tua is 6-0 against Bill Belichick, considering what the last 20-plus years had been of Dolphins fandom, where it was always a guaranteed loss outside of a miraculous primetime home game where you catch them sleeping once
That's
in
it.
a while.
Yeah, that's it. Dolphins home games. That's the only time that I can actually get used to it.
It's so good. Yesterday, the first good thing was he mouthed, "That's bullshit." That's good to see, and you don't think you're going to get better than that. And then later in the game, did you guys see this? He fumbled papers and dropped them. Did you see it? He grabbed it from his back pocket and he dropped it, and he had to bend over
Rattled.
and get it. I'm like,
He's
I love
bubbling.
it. It was so good.
I've been scared of him for 20 years.
He's dropping papers, reaching for a challenge flag where he can't even challenge it. Oh, it was great.
He's been a monster. People will dress as him throughout South Florida tomorrow because he's been such a haunting person. But you don't have Brady anymore, do you, Big Bill? And now you drop your
Now you're just,
papers.
pulling papers out. Where's Brady? Brady's not in here.
Can't find the challenge flag.
It's usually in the stock.
You're gonna
Where are the socks?
Yeah, Bill, you're gonna do it with Devontae Parker, are you? Yeah, go ahead. Him and Gesicki. Go ahead. Let's see it.
But for the life of me, I don't understand Bill Belichick owning this team for 2 decades and being like, Devontae Parker and Gesicki, give me those guys.
No, you did it with Welker. Belichick, you've been robbing us since Welker.
No, you did it with Brady.
That's it.
Oh, yeah.
2 is 6-0 against them.
Roy, give me what you've got, because it's hard for hockey to get in here on a football Monday, but you've got an exciting one tonight with the Panthers going to Boston.
Dan, Roy has a hockey show now. Yeah. I don't know if you're aware of that.
I was not aware. I saw something pop up on YouTube.
Oh,
it was
you're paying
Roy
for it.
after the game. Yeah, I don't know a lot of things I'm paying for here. I don't know what they pay for. I don't. So thank you, Billy, for all your support.
You got this one for free, Dan.
Look at that.
Well, you do go to the games.
And someone's paid.
Just not you.
Go to the games. I'm paying for gas.
You're on salary. Like, I don't.
You should expense gas.
Expense
now that we're
the
talking
gas.
about
I mean,
exactly.
Oh, that's a good idea.
You should expense the gas. Everything should be expensed there. It's our money.
All right,
Don't give me
Dan,
any ideas, Dan.
I will.
I'm just saying.
Wait, all gas can be expensed?
You can't expense his gas.
If you're going to
guess.
work, I think if you're going
Someone
to work.
has to.
Dan, I don't think.
Well, now that he has
true.
his show, he can.
Not if you're
Miles.
coming in
No,
and
let's,
out of
Let's
work.
get this clarified. We can expense gas, yes or no?
You can expense jet fuel every time you fly.
I was of the opinion, I'm assuming that when you guys fly on trips, the company pays for the flights, do they not?
But cars,
Not
yes,
also
no.
to gas.
This is binding.
Rental cars, I would assume so, yes.
I thought you
Yeah.
meant, I thought you meant the daily gas. I was about to be like, yo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You thought that driving into work, that is the general.
You just said that.
It's a long drive,
No.
man.
I would say
Some
that
places do that.
they do.
Some places.
Oh yeah, or you get like a pre-tax benefit.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, progressive.
Like
companies.
commuter
When did that
card.
start? When did it
I
start?
know when it can start here.
Well, hold
Today.
on, hold
Well,
on.
just now when you said it,
I
and it
do
was
want to be a
binding.
progressive company, so let's talk this out.
Well,
for
we're
a second.
behind.
Okay.
I don't think we're behind yet. I think we're still
I
ahead.
got 3 years of gas receipts. I mean,
I've been saving.
No, you don't.
I've been tracking my
Right.
miles.
They're all in your Venmo account.
Stugotz wanted me
right.
me and him to dole out the money. That's what he wanted originally with this business. That's how that would have gone.
just throw it everywhere.
Here's an
man.
idea. Just give us like a cash credit every month for our commutes, and like maybe $500 a person.
You guys are alleging.
What happens when we talk hockey?
Yeah.
If we all get a ramp card, just, everyone honor system.
You guys are alleging that there are companies out there that are now paying, and I'd like to know when this started.
Oh, I'm not alleging. I know this.
That are now paying for their employees to simply drive into the office, to drive into the headquarters.
Yeah. This is not as foreign
When
as
did
it may
that?
seem.
When did that start?
Years ago.
Or you can buy us all cars.
Wow.
I'll take that.
But
as
you got to
well.
pay for the gas on those two.
I'll take a $50,000 credit, and I'll spend it on a car. Wink, wink.
Could you imagine if Dan gave you a $50,000 Chevron card? You'd be so pissed. I mean, it'd be great, but you'd be like, how the hell am I going to spend $50,000 in gas? And it'd be like 2 tanks.
Some heaters.
My Metro Rail card is up in 2 days, just so you know.
Ooh, wow.
I would be standing at the Shell station offering to buy gas for everyone, and they could just Venmo me back, Billy, to answer your question.
I believe
That's
all
how
of
you run a
you
state.
have learned in whatever it is the management or the mismanagement of this company is that if I were in charge of the money, everything would be a yes. Sure, pay for everybody's trains and planes and cars.
Thank you, Dan.
Can we vote who's in charge?
I'm not in charge.
I vote for Dan.
I vote you.
I vote you, Dan.
Second that.
Thank you, guys.
Binding.
Fourth.
Not binding. I'm not in charge of the money.
Kulikov has as many points as Jonathan Huberdeau.
What?
Yeah, Roy has a hockey show.
Roy, so you have a hockey show that I just learned about. Billy, can you please endorse it? Can you tell people why they should be listening to it since you know so much about it?
It's just a great listen after the game. Roy has David Dwork on with him, breaking down everything that happened on the ice.
Thank you, Billy. I appreciate that endorsement.
But it's just for the Panthers or national in scope?
No, we have a post-game show after the game, and we are trying this out. We have a weekly hockey show that goes on every Friday during the post-game. So, please listen, please. I beg of you, please. It's hockey. Please listen. Like my sport, please.
Like my sport.
You need to play it like hard to get, Roy. You can't be like super desperate here. You got to.
I'm super desperate. It's hockey.
Oh. I saw Nickelback was performing at a hockey game.
See, that's what I'm talking about. I'm
electric.
super desperate.
I
Nickelback.
mean, if you were tuned in to Bears Chargers, you got problems because the Heritage Classic had Nickelback playing the second intermission.
Look at his post-game show.
Go ahead. You guys should do right there. That should be the imaging for the start of the
Roy Bellamy and David Dwork.
Yes. You should never do that again.
Oh, man.
The Roy Bellamy and David Dwork hockey post-game
Extravaganza.
extravaganza.
Bit of a mouthful.
What about the preview?
Just post.
A pregame show?
Just
No,
a post.
no,
Right now, we've got the
Yeah,
game
that's-
tonight.
that's
No,
extra.
that you have to pay for.
There's a big game tonight is what Dan's trying to get around to. It's
Right.
Panthers at Boston.
He wants you to set
Roy,
the scene,
yeah,
Roy.
hold on. Let me just understand what just happened here, because Roy, you're going to go to the penalty box in a second.
You gotta
Really?
pay for that one, Dan.
No, now you definitely have to pay for that one.
2 minutes for starting a podcast you don't pay for.
Roy,
huh?
Roy, go ahead and leave. Just leave right now.
Wow.
Just leave. Go sit in the penalty box.
Unbelievable.
No, just go, because you came in here with that
I'm
same.
not going to fight you.
No, you're not going to fight me.
Imagine if he did, though. This ended in fisticuffs.
He used to have an anger problem. He used to throw chairs around here. Roy, get out.
I'm throwing tens on that.
Just pull your shirt over your head. That would actually look funny.
Go. Somebody feel free to pull his shirt over his head.
No, I meant you. Like, he just walks in there and
I'm
pulls
on
your
it.
shirt over your head.
No, I think, Roy, this is what just happened
Drops
here.
the gloves.
This is what just happened. It embarrasses me that Roy has learned so little in 20 years doing this. I mean,
he looks like he picked up a new hockey show.
listen,
exactly.
that I just found out about, and so I'm
You
trying.
did also pay for him to go to Roberto Luongo's induction.
I mean, I don't have a hockey show. I want one.
God bless hockey.
God bless hockey.
Go ahead. Have
God
at
bless
it.
puck.
Have at it. God bless puck whenever you want.
The brand is strong.
You paying for gas?
I want the audience to see and know what just happened there. He's been with us for 20 goddamn years.
Yeah.
Hey, there's your big chance to promote your show. You get one. You get one.
Mm-hmm.
You beg first to have people listen to it.
Right.
And then you tell me when I ask you, Bruins, Panthers tonight, preview it, that you've got to pay for. What do I have to pay for? How little you're giving me in this segment to preview that game when hockey is your expertise and hockey is your show? How has he learned so little about how to do this? The David Dwork and Roy Bellamy. It better be Dwork first. Roy Bellamy postgame show. Go check it out because Roy begs you to.
It's got a great name. It's called
Yeah.
After the Game with Roy.
It's right on the nose.
So good.
There's no confusion as to what it is.
Keep my post-game show out your mouth.
I mean, come on, Roy.
None of your goddamn
Because
post
it's after the game, Dan.
Yeah.
Somebody help him.
after the game.
Somebody help him.
I love that.
I love it. I love it. Keep it.
Straightforward. You know
Yep.
exactly what you're going to get.
Yes.
No frills.
But then Dave Dwork appears.
Who's leading that show? Is it Roy?
Roy.
Is it Dwork?
Roy opens it and then tosses it to David.
I think
Yes.
Dwork needs to start leading. I think
Well, you'll have to start paying.
I
mean,
think I'm not paying Dwork.
that one you do
Stop
that for
saying
free.
his name.
Pony
I
up,
mean,
man.
Are we paying Dwork?
No.
Well, these dwarks.
Oh. The Bruins are off to a better start than last season.
the Brew Crew.
They set the record for points in the regular season last year, and they're off to a better start.
And I think, I'm not sure about this, that Mike Ryan was made happier watching the broken look on Mike Scherr's face about the Boston Bruins than even the Boston Celtics. Because in the frenzy that was the last postseason, and the Dolphins appear to be headed toward one that's going to be pretty fun, in the frenzy, I don't think it got lost how fun all that hockey was, but there has been very few experiences in the history of South Florida that measure out taking Boston out in two sports that way. And taking Boston out on something they care about that way. It's not just beating them, but it's like the cruelest way possible where, Boston fans are staggering into the street for 2 weeks with a hole in their stomach because they can't believe that a record-breaking Bruins team, best regular season team of all time, would suffer the greatest upset in the sport's history or up there.
It was a 3-1 collapse, too, to an 8-seed team that needed help getting in the postseason. The NHL playoffs are great because in other sports, if you back into the playoffs as an 8-seed, you really don't have a shot. Historically, you always have a shot.
Although the Heat just did it at the same time as the Panthers, which made it so magical.
Yeah, we're in a pretty unprecedented time when you look over the last 30 years in the NBA. These last 4 years would suggest that there's actually parity coming to the sport. But, I mean, the jury's still out. We've always known that about hockey. But for the Panthers as an 8-seed to win after trailing 3-1, even though you can classify it as, well, sometimes hockey happens, that's still pretty wild. That being said, the Eastern Conference was amazing last year, and I just provided the example that the 8 seed made it to the Stanley Cup because they were so good. It's even better this year. They're going to be really good teams that could put a scare in you, maybe make a run if they get hot to the championship, that are going to be shut out of the hockey playoffs this year. It might be the Panthers, because they're off to another kind of slow start. I think they're navigating these injuries well. The encouraging news is that Ekblad and Montour returned to the ice and practicing, and it looks like a Thanksgiving rejoining of the team for both of those players, which is excellent.
Mike mentioned injuries, Stugotz, and I want to get to it in the next segment. Something funny that happened with my wife yesterday while she listened to 90 seconds of football and was just horrified by the casual commentary of, like, in the 90 seconds, it's going across screens on the Red Zone channel where I'm trying to avoid this stuff, 3 mentions in 3 different games about concussions. And my wife's like, is that normal? And I'm like, it's pretty normal now. Yep. Every game.
No one got carted off. So
yeah, but she's like, and she's like, is it worth it? And I'm like, to who? To them? To me?
To everyone.
Yeah,
are we going to have another virtue signaling segment where we're like, oh, this sport makes me feel so conflicted?
No.
You're going to be glued at 9:30.
I was glued. No morally conflicted. There's just a couple of funny things happen with my wife that aren't funny because we're just used to the casual violence of half of the strongest men in the world in a league playing together. They've gotten through half a season and all of the teams are broken. It's like, yeah, it's hard to do what they're doing because if a 350-pound man just steps on your foot, most of us wouldn't work for a week.
Tyrod Taylor, man, that guy's poor chest.
Do you think he says no to the shot this time?
Oh, yeah. He'll never take a shot
You
again.
are not taking that needle anywhere near my ribs.
I wanted to talk, Stugotz, because I see after just a couple of games into the basketball season, I saw a little spark in Chris Cody and Mike Ryan, early season basketball. We've talked for a few years about fan width, Stugotz. There's just so much going on in sports. You've got to choose. You can't care deeply about everything and have a life. There's LeBron was playing somewhere on Sunday night.
You know what? I'm glad you brought that up. He's still doing that. I cannot believe that he's still doing it. It's a Sunday night, okay? I'm certain the guy wants to be home. He wants to be watching Sunday Night Football. He is still trotting out there on a Sunday night, playing games, 39 minutes, a game that went into overtime. And I think he had 29 points, 10 assists, 8 rebounds, near triple-double, something like that. He's still trotting out there on a Sunday night playing 39 minutes against the Kings. When's it going to stop?
Are you advocating for LeBron to just stay at home to watch Sunday night football, certain games?
I just marvel at the guy. I appreciate the guy that he is still doing this at 39 years of age. He is still willing to go out on a Sunday night. I don't know why I'm pointing out Sunday night.
Why do you keep pounding on this Sunday night?
It's a weekend. It's a Sunday night. People like to have dinner. They like to be home.
You know he doesn't work a 9 to 5.
Yeah, I know.
He doesn't have a normal job.
I don't care.
No,
Sunday
I like
nights
this.
are meant for a family dinner and Sunday night football.
Load management,
That's it.
but just for Sundays.
Yeah, I mean,
What are you doing?
he's trotting out there on a Sunday night where he should be home with the family.
Stop saying Sunday night.
Having a little dinner with the kids, and he's playing the Kings. He's playing 39 minutes.
This is a weird take because now you're anti-load management. Like, the easy way for you to go today is, why is Jimmy Butler taking the third game of the season off for rest? Like, what are we doing there with the toughest condition, hardest working, blah, 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 culture thing?
Right.
And then the third game of the season is like, I'm tired.
It just says rest.
I'm tired, rest, nah. And then LeBron is out there playing, and you're like, he shouldn't be playing. He should be resting. He should be eating dinner.
Why does everything have to be a take? I am just
That is
marveling at the greatness and longevity of LeBron James. That's all I'm doing.
Adam Silver had a press conference that said, you know what we're going to do? We're playing again. These DMP minute restriction rest things are going to end. And like Bradley Beal is sitting and Jimmy Butler is sitting the third game of the season. It's the same thing. But you want to talk about LeBron James, and he posted this photo because even for him doing something athletic, I mean, we're pretty numb to it. But at his age, being the oldest player in the league, he shared this photo on social media, him stealing a ball that was intended for Kevin Durant. That's Wembanyama type of physics right there. That doesn't make sense. And he's doing that as the oldest player in the league. So, yeah, I'll give him a little bit of credit for playing.
We'll get back to that in a second, him trotting out there on a Sunday night when he should be having dinner with his family.
Yeah.
But the first 2 games of the season, the Lakers, when he was on the floor for 64 minutes, were plus 20. When he was off the floor for 32 minutes, because they were limiting his minutes, they were minus 52.9. The idea that the oldest player in the league after 20 years can still be better, that can still be a top 10 player is asinine. Like, that doesn't, for all the things he's done in his career, the idea that they would be a legitimate contender this year just because he's going to be their best player because he needs to be a good deal better than Anthony Davis, and that might make them a contender. I think Mike's point is an interesting one when he talks about load management, though, Stugotz, because it seems pretty obvious based on last year that Jimmy Butler's economy at this point in his career is get me to maximum strength for the last 20 games so the wheels don't fall off the last 4 of those 20 games because I go from being Michael Jordan to I can't get through the playoffs. The whole thing is built to, if this is the way they're going to be built, if they're not going to get any of the whales, if it's just get better around Jimmy Butler, then the whole season is going to track science, nutrition, game management, all of it to how is Jimmy the strongest the last 20 games. That's all that matters. And I don't know how you make the regular season matter from there, Stugotz, when the Heat just showed you as an 8 seed. Just Jimmy's got to be right for 20 games.
I understand where you're coming from and where the Heat's coming from, and proof is in the pudding, but the NBA did prioritize this. Joe Dumars was out there touting the metrics that it actually doesn't help injuries in any way. Playing more is fine, and you owe it to your fan base to actually have your stars show up. I'm sure Minnesota, who was chanting, "Where is Jimmy?" at the end of that game, would have loved to have seen it, and considering the loss, Heat fans would have probably liked to have seen him suit up too. I do think that we're almost at a breaking point when it comes to this sport, and so far, the NBA players and these teams have called the NBA's bluff when it comes to this.
But, Mike, this is their one star, their lone star, Jimmy Butler. Maybe Bam, you want to say Bam, that's fine, but he's their lone star. So the importance for Jimmy Butler of being healthy going into the postseason is far more important for the Heat than it is, let's say, Jaylen Brown for the Celtics. The Celtics have 4 other great players.
I mean, I know
that starting lineup is ridiculous.
I know the data is skewed, and you can play with numbers, and the NBA wants to tell us a certain story, and you can make numbers work for you in that respect. But when it comes to resting players, the fan in me sees, proof in the pudding. Heat make the finals because they manage these minutes. But if you have data that suggests this actually doesn't help, and all it does is it makes fans that spent money on tickets upset, then yeah, go out there and play.
I've honestly been paying more attention to the teams like involved with all these trades around the Heat more than the Heat early on. I've been hate watching basketball. Like DeAndre Ayton is averaging 8 points a game, and I'm like, yeah, you see?
Chris,
should have taken Tyler Hero.
Chris, this is where I wanted to head with all of this.
He was never on the table, according to Pat.
Because this made its way into the weekend, and this is how the Heat would be able to steal some of the attention that will go to limited fan width. Because it's a lot, man. And if one of the things that gets you to pay attention to the early season Heat, when we're telling you in game 3 it doesn't actually matter and they're going to be load managing all season, the way to do it is, I'm interested in the Bucks when Lillard scores 39 or goes 2 for 12 and they are losing by 30. 2 games into the season, you were hate watching the Bucks, weren't you?
That first game was tough to watch. Oh, my God. When
he was
went
great,
off.
yeah.
Last game when he was terrible, a little better. A little better.
I mean, he was really bad. He had as many turnovers as he had points, 6 of each.
I needed that. Heat fans needed that game.
Yeah, and also I will say that I know even in that 39-point game, that's exactly what Giannis needs. Defensively, turnstile. Maxey was cooking him the entire night. So, yeah, I'm watching through the prism of, well, now that we don't have him, I hope he really falls off.
Still, hate with love, hate with passion. Somehow the Heat were not interesting enough to you to get your attention during the last regular season. It wasn't.
I checked out on them for all the homer shit that I get hit with. And there wasn't a bigger anti-Heat voice last season, and they made me look like a fool. But I'm doing it again this year. They're not that.
Why did Zagacki just make an
like
appearance?
a fool?
There's only one way
touchdown! What a great call by Josie.
Oh, that was electric.
Yeah, it was awesome. But hey, Miami won, so you won't talk about them.
Right. Well,
let's do that. Well,
I was so close to having a date with Tony Elliott.
No, Mike, I will talk about them, even though the last couple of games have been
I'm shocked you knew that.
Overtime victories. God bless football has a trend going of bringing on the coach that has broken Mike's heart. How many straight weeks did you do it? Just to bring,
every loss.
Okay, but the last couple of games, we should give the University of Miami, because we pounced on them. The last 2 games, they've beaten Clemson in overtime with their backup quarterback.
Yeah.
And they beat Virginia. And I don't think Virginia's any good, but Virginia did do that at North Carolina. Miami was a big favorite, barely won. And there are a million reasons people are going to get frustrated with Mario Cristobal, including in town, you've got a coach who's super aggressive in the pro level. Super, super aggressive, teaching you what offense can be. And you've got a great offensive line. Van Dyke's got plenty of time to throw, Stugotz. They've got a quarterback problem. I didn't think they were going to have a quarterback problem. I did not think they were going to have a quarterback problem. That team could be better if he were better. And he's making bad interceptions with plenty of time. Maybe there are more quarterbacks around the league, around all of college football, that are getting more time than Van Dyke, but he's protected. He's got time. And it may be a failure of his receivers, but he's making some bad decisions as well.
His receivers are getting open. He has all the time in the world. And I told you before the season, everyone wants to point back to Tyler Van Dyke 2 years ago. And Rhett Lashley's offense, led by Jalen Knighton, scored 69 points over the weekend for SMU. I don't want to see the Tyler Van Dyke from 2 years ago. I want to see the Tyler Van Dyke from the first 4 games of this season. That would, to me, was the new model. And I told you before the season, I'm kind of not all in on TVD because he's the type of quarterback that needs everything to go right for him, and that includes health. And he's banged up. I know he was wearing a brace. He took a hard shot at North Carolina. He played well in North Carolina, I think. He plays better on the road, it would appear. But, yeah, he's locked into his primary read, and it's always Restrepo. Restrepo was a read on that first interception, and he underthrew it by 5 yards. They have to fix this with the quarterback because my entire adult life, Miami does not win the game that they won the last 2 weeks. getting that from the quarterback position. And I know, Stugotz, I've already read your observations, and you want to kill Miami for winning. I'm not apologizing for winning because Miami always loses that game. Year-over-year improvement, surviving that from your quarterback, that's an impressive win.
Maybe he just needs some crowd noise to play better. Maybe it's too quiet at home.
Mike Ryan
his
is
own head.
again dressed like an athletic trainer today, head to toe
Mike's gonna kill me.
with his University of Miami gear. He was the whole women's basketball team is as cool a story as we've got in town. He was at Highlight with them on Friday. He is a full-on booster and athletic trainer and journalist on the inside.
Seems like a conflict. But regardless, Dan, to answer your question, just to answer your question, we had Brent Key, the head coach of Georgia Tech, after the Canes lost to them on that final play. And then we had Mac Brown on after they lost to UNC. But here's the thing. The curse of God bless football is back. Mike should be happy because Mac Brown and Carolina went out and they lost right after he came on with us.
I don't think God bless football has anything to do with what Mac Brown always does.
I don't know.
That's right. God bless football.
Debatable.
Responsible for all wins and losses all over the universe. Put it on the poll, please, Juju, at Le Batard Show.
One last thing, because this is the first time I'm allowed to talk Miami Hurricanes football in the last 2 weeks. I would love to give some shine to Ruben Hurricane Bain.
You know what? Hold on just a second.
Because he might be the best defensive lineman in the nation, and he's a true freshman.
Mike, I will. He's been wanting to talk about this nonstop for months. Now.
That's all I wanted to say.
No. But
no. It's fun when we lose.
Hold on, Mike. I'm going to endorse you. I'm going to endorse you on this. It was fun to watch Ruben Bain on Saturday take Virginia linemen and throw them back with their arms waving because he's very strong and fast. It is fairly ridiculous to see how quickly he gets through the line, and people are backing away from him as if something's exploded at their feet. He is exceptional, clearly.
Ruben Bain and Mark Fletcher and Mawagoa, these are players why you have to, and $80 million as well, why you have to believe in this and just see this crystal ball project out.
Do you believe in the darkness yet?